Okay, hi guys. Welcome to the second lesson in the changing places topic. As you can see, we are doing a learning map today. So again, it's kind of a nice, easy, and hopefully creative way for you to start thinking about the topic. Obviously, if you have not done the glossary, if you missed the first lesson, you need to go back and do that. Okay, that's like a basis of key terms that you need to know, and obviously we'll pick up more as we go. So, guys, hopefully you've got access to like pen and paper at home. Okay, the whole point of a learning map is for you to kind of think your way through what you're going to learn and to start kind of putting things together. Okay, so you will see that there is a learning map sample. Now, worst comes to worst, you're going to have to switch it around. You can copy this one. Look, it's not great. Please notice urbanization. That should be an A here. Okay, you can copy this one out, but the idea is you kind of draw your own, and it doesn't need to necessarily go in the order that we're going to be learning things because different things connect in people's brains in different ways. So, what I've given you guys is the information about like things that we're going to cover, and then you can draw that out. Like if you want, you could do it as a mind map. You can do it like a timeline. You can draw images. Okay, the idea is you're mapping out ahead of time what we're going to be doing this term so that it's not a surprise to you and you can maybe start pulling together ideas. So I'm going to kind of talk through the things that we're going to be doing. So we're going to start off with looking at the causes and consequences of urbanization. Okay, so we're going to identify push and pull migration factors from the glossary. You've probably already got some ideas, so we're going to identify them and look at a brief history of urbanization, but we kind of know from term one when we were looking at the Industrial Revolution. Okay, then we're going to spend a few lessons doing a case study on the city of Jakarta in Indonesia, and we're going to use that city to look at the causes of urbanization, why people are moving to Jakarta, and then we're going to examine the consequences, the economic, so anything to do with money, okay, jobs, the social, so the impact on people, such as health, education, and environmental consequences of urbanization in Jakarta as a case study. Okay, then we'll move on to urban settlement patterns. Basically, that just means where in the world urban areas are, particularly cities. Okay, so we're actually going to compare urban settlement patterns in Indonesia, so from the case study, and Australia. Okay, we're going to explain different factors that influence urban concentration, so where people are concentrated are brought together in urban areas. So there's many of them, such as the climate, topography, so the shape of the land. So for example, you don't tend to have cities on mountains, okay, although there are some that are. Okay, lots of different things. And then we're going to look at the consequences of urbanization, on the characteristics of a place, on the livability of a place, and the sustainability of a place. Again, going back to the glossary, last lesson, you may already be thinking, well, maybe really big cities aren't sustainable, aren't livable. Okay. Then we're going to focus on migration. Okay, so we're going to start off with internal migration. So, a reminder that's moving around within a country. So, we're going to look at trends in temporary and permanent internal migration in Australia. So, why do people move from one place to another within Australia? What's the push factors? What's the pull factors? If we have time, we may look at China as well as another case study. And again, we're going to discuss the consequences of this internal migration on the places of origin, so where these people are from, where they're leaving, and the destination. Okay, so obviously there'll be consequences for both places. Okay, then we move on to international migration. So we'll look at international migration patterns overall. Okay, we're going to explain where and why international migrants settle within Australia, and we'll probably look at Sydney in particular. Okay, and we'll examine characteristics of and the patterns of Australia's cultural diversity. And then to finish off the topic, we're going to really think about Australia's urban future. We're going to be discussing the implications of the population forecasts for the future growth and sustainability of urban places in Australia. So What do experts think is going to happen to the size of Melbourne, of Sydney, of Perth over the next 10, 20, 50 years? Okay. And then, of course, linking on to that, well, we need to look at strategies that are going to be put into place to plan for this. Okay, and we're going to explain those strategies that are used to create sustainable urban places, basically. And again, we'll hopefully have time to look at some other cities around the world that are bringing in strategies to ensure that their cities, while growing, are remaining sustainable environmentally, economically, socially, and a nice place to live. Okay. And last but not least, you are going to propose how individuals and communities can contribute to a sustainable urban future. Look, at the moment, there's actually 2 assessment tasks this term. I've mentioned here the assessment is redesigning the tram sheds down in Glebe. And before that, the idea was that you would do a written report, okay, on some of the earlier things we do. Look, we may change it. It depends how long online learning goes for. I'll give you an update when I know. Right, so hopefully, just me talking through that, you've seen some key things. We're going to be looking at causes and consequences. We're going to look at urbanisation in general. We're going to be doing case studies. We're going to look at migration. Okay, so by all means, you really want to copy that learning map, but I know there's some creative people in here. It would be great if you could draw something out. Just like I said, it's for you to help understand where we may be going. Okay, so it certainly does not have to be a work of art. Okay, and then just to like kind of finalize and kind of solidify what we've done in the glossary lesson and today's learning map lesson, I want you to have a go at writing a paragraph explaining your understanding about the upcoming topic of changing places. Okay, what is it that you think we are going to learn about? You don't need to write a teal paragraph. I'm more interested in just seeing your understanding of what we're going to be doing. If you can't do a paragraph, okay, maybe just some short sentences. Okay, guys, and then tomorrow we'll look at like what is urbanization very broadly, and then we'll move on to the Jakarta case study. All right, guys. So look after yourselves and make sure you get a break as well. Any questions, ask in Edmodo. Thanks. Bye.